Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the lesser-known but historically significant tanks in American military history, the M1917. It was the first mass-produced tank by the United States and a close relative of the French Renault FT. While it may not have had a long combat career, its story is crucial in understanding the evolution of American armored warfare. The M1917 came into existence during World War I, at a time when tanks were still a brand-new concept. The U.S. didn't have any armored vehicles of its own when it entered the war in 1917, so it turned to the French for inspiration. The result was essentially an American-built version of the Renault FT, which was already proving effective in European combat. The idea was simple but groundbreaking. A small, light tank with a fully rotating turret, operated by a two-man crew, a driver and a gunner-commander. It weighed in at around 7 tons and was powered by a 42-horsepower, 4-cylinder engine. This gave it a top speed of just under 6 miles per hour. That sounds incredibly slow by today's standards, but back then, it was just fast enough to keep up with advancing infantry. Its armor ranged from 6 to 16 millimeters thick, which provided basic protection against small arms fire and shell fragments. The M1917 came in 2 main versions, one armed with a .30 caliber machine gun and the other with a 37mm Puteaux SA-18 gun. This made it versatile for its time, able to suppress enemy positions or support infantry advances. Its simple design and small size made it relatively easy to transport and deploy compared to larger tanks of the era. Now, here's the catch. Despite plans to produce over 4,000 units, delays in manufacturing and coordination issues meant that the M1917 didn't make it to Europe before the war ended in November 1918. In fact, none of the American-built M1917s saw combat during World War I. By the time production ramped up, the war was already over. That said, the tank still played a role in the years that followed. Throughout the 1920s and 1930s, the M1917 was used mainly for training and demonstrations. It gave the U.S. Army its first experience with operating and maintaining tanks, laying the groundwork for the future development of armored forces. Some units were even used for civil disturbances, like during the Bonus Army protests in Washington, D.C. in 1932, when General MacArthur deployed tanks to disperse demonstrators. When World War II began, the M1917 was already obsolete. Still, a few were dusted off and used for training purposes early in the war before being permanently retired. Today, only a handful of M1917s remain preserved in museums,